Hello, my name is Daniel Yuck. Thank you for watching my video today. I appreciate your time and support. In today's video, I want to share with you how I go about tattooing cracks. I will leave my Amazon affiliate and other affiliate links for you in the description below so you can check out the gear that I'm going to be using in this video. Should you have any questions at all, I encourage you to drop a comment down below. I will do my absolute best to assist you in the best possible direction. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring my bell, as I will be bringing more videos like this for you all. I do also have social medias under the same name as my YouTube channel. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, all under Daniel Yuck. I would appreciate the support over there as well. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive straight on into this. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using an easy tattoo supply. This is going to be the P3 Pro tattoo machine. I'm going to be running at around the 4.2 stroke or the 3.7, and I'm going to stay within 5 to about 6 volts. I'm going to let you know every single move that I make along the way. I'm also going to be using a bug pin 3-round liner from Inkclaw. As you can see, this is 0603. So this is a really tight 3-round liner right here. I'm also going to be using dynamic black, and this is going to be done on Reelskin fake skin. The stencil paper that I use to apply the stencil is Spirit stencil paper. When it comes to tattooing cracks, there are a few things that I want to go over real quick before we dive into the actual application. I would recommend staying in the lower needle range. I would recommend not going above a 5-round liner. Now, it really does depend on the design at hand, the placement, and the size of the design. However, for the most part, when I do cracks, I really want them detailed and fine. I kind of want them to mimic a crack that I would see on a wall or in concrete in real life. So that's the, I guess, idea behind it. That's the concept. That's what I'm going for. So again, if I'm going to be using a larger round liner, then I'm not going to be able to get those really defined little detailed cracks I'm going to share with you here in this video. I'm not going to be able to get sharp edges. I'm not going to be able to get fine lines, and that's what I'm really going for. I also want to encourage you, let's say if you are more comfortable using a standard 3-round liner, by all means, please use that. The idea is to stay on the lower side of a needle configuration. As I mentioned, a 5-round liner and below is probably the best way to go about this specific application. When it comes to creating cracks, I do feel like the needle that we're choosing does have a lot to do with the final look and read of our cracks. When it comes to applying cracks, one of the great things is that it does have this organic flow to them, meaning that they're not perfect by any means. So there's a lot of room for forgiveness and, I guess, interpreting cracks the way that we want. I'm going to begin with right here, and what I'm going to do, and I'll leave the stencil down below in the links for you so you can follow along if you choose to do so. I'm going to begin with building up this area right here. And I am running at 5 volts even. I'm using the 4.2 stroke, that's what I decided to go with. The bug pin 3-round liner. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make my way from over here on this way. And as I'm doing that, I'm not going for consistency or saturation. What I'm trying to do is fluctuate a little bit throughout the cracks here in certain meticulous areas. I don't want it to be spotty at the same time. I want these lighter and darker areas to be meticulously chosen. So in areas where it tends to be thinner, I'll tend to go lighter. In areas where there's more thicker cracks, I'll go darker in those areas. And you can see I'm just filling in this area. I'm letting the needle tip really do all of the work for me here. And I'm bringing it this way and around. And you can see I'm just building it up. And again, I'm not going for any sort of perfection or consistency. What I'm trying to do is create that organic sense that cracks have. Forgive me for the camera not focusing there. I apologize about that. So I'm going to continue going and working my way through here. I'm not going for any sort of perfection or anything like that. What I'm doing is I'm building up right now. So I can see that these areas right here are obviously thicker. It goes a little bit thinner right here, a little bit thicker. So I'm addressing the thinner and thicker areas here. And these thinner areas, again, is where I'm going to be lighter. And the thicker areas is where I can be a little bit darker. And that's just the way that I'm going to apply cracks. That's my technique here. Another reason why I chose this small of a needle configuration is so that way I can be real precise with where I'm placing the ink, and I can have some nice tapers here, as you can see, like so, and over here. Like so. And essentially this is a process that I'm going to repeat throughout this stencil right here. Much like most tattoos, the idea is to remain consistent with the technique throughout the entire tattoo, so that way we get a good quality read when we're done. I'm going to keep building, and these areas right here in between, I'm not really worried about filling those in right now. I can come back and fill those in quickly. I think right now what I'm trying to do is map out the integrity of this crack right here. I'm trying to address all of the thinner and thicker areas. So as I'm working my way, I'm going to build my way and make this connection right here. So this area is thin, so I'm going to want to be real mindful with the amount of pressure that I'm applying. I want to fluctuate my pressure, so I'm going to start off with a little bit more pressure, taper this way, start with more pressure right here, taper this way, and kind of repeat this process right here so nothing is consistent. I don't feel like cracks are any sort of consistent at all. So therefore, that's why I mentioned that organic sense to them. There is a lot of room for error. I'm going to use just a very tip and try to be as light as I can right here, because I'm trying to accomplish a really thin, faint crack. The idea is the more pressure that we apply, the darker the crack, the thicker the crack. The least amount of pressure that we apply, the fainter the crack, the thinner the crack would be. So that's the kind of theory and logic that I'm using to apply these cracks here. So since this is a thicker area of the crack, this is going to be darker because it's thicker. The crack runs deeper. I'm going to work my way all the way up to the top over here, and once I have the entire integrity of this crack mapped out, I can then go and fine tune and add all of the final details, saturate all the parts I need to saturate, and move on with the design here. So all of this area right here I know needs to go saturated. So I'm establishing the boundaries in which the darkest areas are going to go, so I can saturate those. All of this is going to go saturated. You can see it goes thinner out here. So when that happens, I'm going to lighten up with a nice taper. Now these ends right here are very important, along with all the details such as this one, and let's say we add one right here. All of these are super important. All of these little details and choices add up when we are done. So all I'm doing now is essentially just lightly mapping out this crack right here. And I can go back in and fill in all these areas that you see. And then I'm going to apply this last part up here, and then I can go in there and finish the rest of the cracks. I'm going very lightly right here because these are the thinnest cracks, so following the theory of thinner cracks are lighter, thicker cracks are darker. And you can see that this is very organic, jagged. It's not perfect by any means, however it is mimicking a crack. So from here, now what I'm ready to do is I'm ready to begin filling in all of these areas and finalizing any cracks and adding any cracks should I feel that I need to do so. So now what I want to do is continue building off of this awesome foundation that we have right here. So now I'm going to go in and saturate all of the areas that I need to saturate and fill in. So you can see I'm adding an extra crack right here just to connect this area because I feel like it would look better. I encourage you to practice your artistic choice making and insert any cracks that you feel would look great to, you know, take this crack design to the next level here. I encourage you to practice that. The areas that are supposed to be clean and solid, I want them to be solid and saturated and clean. And the areas that are supposed to be lighter are supposed to be lighter. So all of these thicker crack areas are supposed to be saturated because if we're looking through the crack, we won't be able to see any concrete underneath, which means that we're just going to see dark because there's nothing under the concrete. Let's say if we're looking at a thin crack, chances of us seeing some concrete off to the sides are great, or underneath. So that's kind of just the theory behind it. So for example, I think that there'd be a cool crack from here to here, but a light and thin one. So I'm gonna start from right here and use the very tip. You can see the very tip of my needle, and then I'm gonna get a little bit darker as it gets closer to the other end, like so. And I'm gonna do little details like that throughout the entire crack design to make the most of it. Same thing with this top area. I'm gonna go and fill this in and begin to add details where I see fit. So you can see I'm really taking my time. I'm not rushing the process. I'm working with a very fine needle and I'm focused on the healing integrity of this design right here. So for example, I want a little crack to run through the middle right here. I'm going to start from up here and very lightly apply the crack. It's going to be darker over here off to the edges and then lighter in the middle. And again, do another one extending over here, like so. Okay, I've now reached a place with this design where I'm happy with the integrity. I feel like what I should do now is use my artistic choices and add some final details. And this tattoo right here is a wrap. That is essentially the way that I go about applying cracks. So I'm just gonna look at the design and see where some cracks would best fit and or connect. And anything else I need to do along the way, such as saturating a little bit more. You get the idea? So I'm gonna wanna add another crack right here. And you can see that this one is all over the place and crazy, and that's okay too. You can see this one's getting, this crack is a little bit thicker now, and that's also okay. And you can see that these are very faint cracks when we're done. They're not overpowering or overbearing. So you can see I'm just adding some cracks. Now, when I wipe away, a lot of these cracks are going to look a little different because of the depth that I'm going about applying them. They're really faint. I don't want to add too much. I do like all of my taper routes. Maybe this one could probably be a little bit better. Other than that, I do feel like this tattoo would be complete. Keep in mind, we are doing cracks, so oftentimes less is going to be way more. Because I do feel like there is overdoing it. So I'm going to call it right there, and I do feel like this is a successful crack type of tattoo. So here is a top view. These are the results that we are working with for this specific tattoo. I love the way that this reads right here. I even love all of these lighter inner cracks right here. It adds a lot of interest for me personally. Whenever I look at a tattoo and I'm interested in looking at it more, that tells me that there is a higher sense of quality for that specific tattoo. That's just my opinion. That's the way that I look at it. That's the way that I read tattoos. What I'm trying to say is that this one has that sort of read. It is interesting, it is nice, it is cleanly applied, making this an all-around good tattoo in my opinion. If you have any questions about anything that you saw throughout this video, I'm going to encourage you to drop a comment down below. I will do my absolute best to assist you in the best possible direction. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring my bell, as I will be bringing more videos like this for you all. I do also have social medias under the same name as my YouTube channel. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I would truly appreciate the support over there as well. With that being said, I thank you for your time. I appreciate your support. You have a great day.